Hello, my name is Tony Litt. I'm the MD of Sunrise Radio, and it's my immense pleasure to bring you the official Sunrise Radio podcast. We are the #1 commercial Asian station in the United Kingdom, with many firsts to our name, and we continue to be the voice of British Asians who have given us their love and loyalty over 30 years. It's a legacy we cherish and a responsibility that we don't take lightly. Our aim has always been to entertain the listeners with the best of Bollywood and Bhangra, while also addressing their concerns. A real voice for the community, a vibrant community, and a great nation. We are proud to be British and Asian. This podcast is a compilation of some of the things we do on the station, with a stellar lineup of presenters who each have their own personality and style. It's entertaining, informative, engaging, and we hope you will enjoy it here as a podcast if you are unable to tune in to the radio. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your family and friends about this podcast. And do leave us a comment on what you think. We'd love to hear from you. All the best always. Team Sunrise.
The UK's biggest station mix. Sunrise Radio.
It is that time for the debate at 8. So I have got my guest lined up. They're joining me right now on air without any hesitation. Hello. How are you doing?
Hi everybody. Thanks, Amit, for inviting me to the show.
You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a lovely lady by the name of Sharan. And we were talking earlier and we decided to kind of navigate this debate ever so slightly, because I did something earlier this week. I was covering Shivi and I was talking about this controversy surrounding Sadia Khan. Now, what's interesting, there's an element to this as well that isn't is being widely discussed, but it's interesting, isn't it, that she's kind of essentially cheating with someone else's partner. And then we kind of sidetracked when we were discussing this, and you sort of put forward this idea about the whole concept of a soulmate. Is that myth or reality? And you're on the side of yes, it's a reality, and I'm on the side of, not myth as much, but I have a different take on it. So what I thought we would do is debate this today, and I'm going to ask you first to posit your position on the idea of a soulmate, that we have one soulmate in this lifetime.
Yeah, totally. So it's great to be here. So I absolutely believe that there is one true soulmate for every person out there. And here I'm speaking from both my professional stance, I'm going to say, with my work, but also my personal experience, because I'm actually married to my one true love, and I like to call it my most compatible soulmate. And the way that I view it is, a soulmate isn't just somebody that you fall in love with. It's your most compatible partner on every level. So I'm talking like emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, even energetically. And this is the person that really fills your life with that love, joy, happiness, the contentment, the passion, the support. But with them, you don't just love, you grow, you learn, you develop, you evolve together, side by side, even through life challenges. And for me, it's not just about somebody completing you, because you're already whole. It's about two people coming together, intertwining, sharing their wholeness together. So that's why I really believe in the reality that there is one true soulmate for every person out there. The partner where you feel like home, who makes you feel like you want to grow old together, and who reflects back to you the best version of yourself, which is what I've got in my life right now.
Nice. Okay, cool. I like that stance. I like that. I'm going to sort of go the other way, because I think that it's not necessarily just one. And I think that one of the biggest arguments against this is that I think that when everyone, the first time they get married, for example, they do think that person there is going to be their soulmate, and then something goes wrong and they get divorced.
Yeah.
And if we hold to that idea, the problem is that people in that situation feel like they can't love again, that they've had their one chance. Or they might think, they could think, maybe I haven't found them yet, that wasn't the true one. The problem with that idea is that people who've been in love, been married, can easily feel hopeless as a result. So what do you say to that?
Okay, so I do understand, obviously, many people out there, we're all human. We've, had past previous relationships. But here's the thing, past relationships, they can feel powerful, because in the moment, like you mentioned, you could be, go through a marriage, and then you don't want to end up in divorce. Nobody goes into marriage feeling it's going to end up in divorce. But what I would say is I see them as karmic or stepping stone relationships in a sense of they kind of come in to like teach us our lessons, to help us to heal, to grow, or, you know, it's not going to last because it's not our most compatible soulmate. So here I feel the difference is endurance. And the reason I say that is because a true soulmate relationship will deepen over time, and any challenges, they will overcome the challenges. So that's my stance on it.
Wow. Okay, so that's interesting. I like that terminology as well. Stepping stone relationships. But would it be fair to say then that even those stepping stone relationships are technically your soulmates, because maybe they've also decided that I will come in and have this relationship with you to help you and be your stepping stone to the next relationship and get you ready for that?
See what you mean with that. But what I'm going to say is, even probably the most soulmate connection, you can come into your life with past life, like, you know, the ups and the downs, the trials and tribulations of life. But here what I'm going to say is the difference is those challenges don't break you, which means if you go into, say, a relationship, whether you get married or you don't, or the relationship, say, for example, lasts a few weeks, a few months, maybe even like a few years, the difference is if you go through challenges, a soulmate, most compatible, one true love relationship, that will, you know, it will last the whole duration. Like, and I'm going to say a lifetime because I believe in lifetime love. Whereas other relationships that do fall apart because the going gets tough, and when I always say this analogy, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Like, literally, the relationship ends. Whereas a soulmate relationship, they stay together. It's like that glue. They're cemented together and they overcome the obstacles, and then at the end of it, it makes them stronger. The previous relationships, I'm going to say, are not necessarily soulmate relationships. They could be karmic, and I'm going to go back to the word stepping stone.
Nice. Okay, I see where you're coming from in this, and I think that there's probably an element of truth in what you're saying, but I do feel ultimately that we are in a position where, and I've seen this and I've experienced this as well, when I've been out there dating, any number of women could have been my soulmate, because I've got that type of personality where I get on with people quite relatively easily, especially women, and I feel like any of the women I was dating could have been my soulmate because we got on so well. And it just so happens there was one thing my wife kind of did that, you know, took the that made her put her out in the lead, shall we say. That's terrible phrasing to use, but I'm just going to use that phrase. So, and even then as well, I speak to a lot of women as well, that I do think to myself, when people tell me they struggle with dating, and I have a lot of conversations with single women, I'm like, you're amazing, you're wonderful. It doesn't ring, you know, doesn't resonate with me. How are you finding it so difficult? You're obviously a lovely human being. So, you know, again, I think if I was single, then I could still see myself potentially, you know, like being on a date with that person and thinking, cool, that could have gone quite well, actually. So I do feel there's a lot of people out there that could be my soulmate. My wife is one I've chosen, not necessarily predetermined to be, but I've chosen her to be my soulmate for this lifetime. But should anything happen, like, for example, here's another example to this as well. Obviously, I'm going to say touch wood. You know, for me, death isn't a morbid subject or anything. But let's say, for example, my partner passes away tomorrow. I think that, you know, given enough time, I could heal, go out there, meet someone else. Now, which of those two people, like, if I meet someone else and I get married again, which of those two people are my soulmate?
I would probably say in that circumstance, potentially, but what I'm going to say as well is, obviously, because you don't know, like, in terms of in our lifetime, you know, who's going to go first and things like that. But what I would say is, in that example, the first one was definitely the soulmate relationship. You know, it's about, you know, seeing yourself growing old together, or, you know, whatever the circumstances was, if something catastrophic happened and, you know, you were back available on the market, so to speak, you know, finding that new partner. But what I would say, through any adversity, through any, like, all of that, you know, the hurt, the upset, the karmic stuff that was going on there, which I'm always going to bring up because past life, I do feel that's relevant as well to, like, you know, meeting your most compatible soulmate as well. So in that circumstance, I would say yes. probably likely, karmically, you're going to meet somebody else on that journey that, you know, that can make you happy, that can bring, you know, light in your life again and bring that soulmate connection. So ultimately, I would say, you know, it's not a whole perfection, you know, one rule and that's it. So I would say there are different circumstances to this, definitely, like you brought up.
All right, cool. I take that on board, but I think we should now turn it over to the listeners and see what they think. Do you believe, ladies and gentlemen, that there is one soulmate out there for you, and that even if you've entered a wrong relationship, you know, one that maybe didn't last as long as you thought, or you got divorced or whatever, that was potentially just a stepping stone into finding your true soulmate? Or do you believe that you have multiple soulmates? I stand by what I said. I think we've got multiple soulmates. My lovely esteemed guest, Sharon, believes we just have one. But what do you think? Drop us a WhatsApp and also vote in the poll on the Sunrise Radio Instagram. I was having a quick look as well, and I think let me just quickly go to it right now and tell you exactly what the score was. Looking at the poll right now, in terms of myth, 62%, reality, 38%. So that's what the lovely listeners out there think, Sharon. But listen, I just want to say thank you. You've been an amazing guest. Honestly, thank you so much for coming on and being part of the debate at 8. Did you enjoy?
You're welcome. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome. And one of the people as well who voted in the poll was on the poll, should I say, is the amazing Amit Sodha, of course, from Sunrise Radio as well. And he voted for myth, which is interesting as well. Because he's been married, he's got kids, he's been married for a very long time. So it's interesting that he says that. But anyway, there we go. Sharon, you've been a superstar. Thank you so, so much. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see her Instagram handle on the Sunrise Radio story. So you can just follow her from there if you do want to follow her. But Sharon, you've been a superstar. Thank you, my lovely.
Thank you. All the best.
Ciao for now. Bye.
Catch our love guru, Amit Sodha, between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. every Sunday for that chill out zone.